I think, well, first off, I mean, Hudson's, a great program. Like I said, they're one of the consistent winners in New England. So, they've been in our gym before at this stage, and we know how well coached and talented they are. And I think you saw that in the first half in particular. They didn't flinch. They made us think a little bit. They made some plays, and we've been in this situation before, and I think you saw that in the second half. Our seniors in particular came out and just played with a lot of intensity. We always talk about in our man offense not being kind of married to the structure, right? Trying to stay in it, but not being married to it. You can make some plays. I think in the first half we looked a little married to our zone offense, and in the second half they played with a little bit more freedom to kind of trust their instincts and made some terrific basketball plays.
You didn't keep the guys in the locker room very long at half. Were you happy with the way they played and it was just a question of shots not falling?
I never really keep them in the locker room very long. No, I think it's, especially when the team's in the zone, the best thing about the NCAA tournament is you see styles, teams you maybe have never seen or haven't seen in a while. So this was our first zone for a little bit, so we just talked about some adjustments, but with our veteran group, it's more mindset, energy. We thought defensively, we were playing exactly how we wanted to. Played with that intensity. But that's standard par for the course for me. I mean, I wish I could make a bunch of. I asked them, do you want me to overcoach and make a bunch of X and O adjustments, or do you want me to trust you? And I write on my sheet every year, trust these guys. They deserve it, and I think they showed that in the second half.
For both the players, one at a time. In the first half, you couldn't buy very many baskets. In the second half, you shoot 70% from the floor and 55% from the three-point range. How much of it was just getting into the flow, and how much of it was what they were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were getting open looks, great shots to start in the first half as well. It took us a little bit to settle in, whether that was a big game or whether it's a big crowd or NCAA jitters. But I think from there we just continued to attack on offense and get kick out threes, break them down, and seal them inside, and get open layups. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of, as Coach said, like in the NCAA tournament, you never really know what to expect coming into a game, and I think the 2-3 zone, we were getting open shots, but they weren't shots that we've been taking kind of recently in conference play, and I think that messed up our rhythm a little bit offensively, which makes you think more than you should. And then I think in the second half, we kind of just played basketball off instinct and kind of shot it when we were open, made an extra pass here and there, and it kind of built on itself. So, hopefully we can build on that for tomorrow.
You guys, in the first half especially, Hart seemed to keep things open for you guys because he was so successful inside. Mm-hmm. Was that part of the plan to go, against the zone, or were they,
Yeah, so I mean, our size. One reason teams do zone us is we have size, which makes us, I think, hard to guard or hard to match up with. And Matt in particular, Mike. When we get the ball down low, good stuff usually happens. So, I think when they're in the zone, you want to have that same mentality you have in our man offense to try to get it in there, and then when they convert on him, kick it out to these guys. And once we kind of got the ball moving and kind of the rhythm to kind of the zone, and what happens in these games is sometimes you miss the first couple, and then you press, and now you're shooting a good shot when you could maybe move it and get a better one. I thought we did that. Really the entire second half, which is why we shot so well.
Well, I thought one of the biggest shots of the game was early in the second half. You got the ball in the left corner and took it to the basket against the three guys there. What was part of the plan? What were you thinking there? And
we talked a little bit ourselves, kind of the starters right before we went out, just kind of getting into those gaps that the zone presents, and whether that be kicking it back out for threes to James and Kyle and Henry. But I thought we did a much better job of getting into those gaps in the second half, which really opened it up for Carp. And then the three started to fall as we were kind of getting them going inside and outside.
You guys opened the second half, making twos, and then they called timeout after after you hit a three and then you hit a three, was at that point you guys felt really confident that the shots were falling, that, you know, that you were in rhythm now?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to see a couple shots go in, but I think we just stuck to what we do. We stuck to our principles, and we came a little bit more creative and aggressive against the zone, I think, in the second half, and I think that's what the difference was.
Who was most impressed by Henry's one-handed jam off the three-point miss?
Henry.
He's been waiting for 3 years to get that.
Yeah, the answer to that is Henry.
The scary part is he said his sister is better than he is, and I want to see that next year when she comes.
Kyle was obviously pretty impressed too, since he
Yeah.
then threw that pass on the next possession.
You
So,
scored on your first 6 possessions the second half, and then it just seemed to roll. Is it contagious? One guy starts hitting threes after you go 2 for 17 in the first half?
Is that what we're?
Yeah.
2 for 17? That's not
yeah, I don't know, I mean, we constantly talk about, we don't want it to, we don't want misses and makes to dictate anything we do, but I think it was how those shots were being, you know, presented, you know, and it was guys attacking, guys playing with energy. It wasn't, you know, pass the ball twice and hope one of these, you know, talented guys makes the shot. It was just attack, and, you know, when they drop it off the cart, let Kyle make a play, hit these guys. So I think it was just that rhythm and that feel that these guys could sense a little bit more than, you know, just kind of hoping that, you know, our talented guys made a shot.
Kevin, I know you haven't got the full scouting report yet, but what you saw, what do you know, tomorrow night going at Mercy, a team that's really a lot smaller than you, played pretty well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they're, you know, we talked, the best thing about playing second is you get to watch the first game and just kind of see that environment. The worst part is you sit there anticipating your opportunity to play, which is part of the reason I think sometimes that second game you come out a little tight. But we talked about it. I mean, they were successful in their game because they played with just a ton of emotion and energy, and you know, up and down their bench, and you know, they're a tough, scrappy team that has guys that can make plays.
I'm all set.
You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.